Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video with On Point Politics. Hit the like button and subscribe for more content just like this. Today I will be analyzing the 2026 Senate midterm races. Make sure to go ahead and go in the description down below to check out my new aggregation site called On Point Aggregate, which tracks Trump's approval rating in real time. He is currently net positive by 2 points, almost at 50% of the nation, right around what he got in the actual election in 2024 when he cracked 49. Well, it's actually over here. In the election, he ended up cracking 49.8. I actually think it might even be, yeah, it basically is about the same. It's right around what he actually got in the real election. But yes, Donald Trump is net positive by 2 points. We only include the most accurate pollsters in this aggregation model, and we will be updating this over time with new features that are currently underway, including Vance's favorability as well, where he is currently approved of by 45% of American voters. So make sure to go in the description down below and check out our aggregator. And as well, make sure, guys, if you have a Twitter account, make sure on the day of Saturday, which would roughly be the 12th of April, we have online simulation elections on X, and Republicans have to win back more seats. They have to win back the chambers of Congress in this virtual simulator, and I will be letting all of you guys know until Saturday to make sure to vote in this general election. I will be providing the link to the Google form on Saturday when voting is live. Now, looking at this map, right, we can clearly see that Republicans, they did okay in 2020 with Trump on the ballot. Georgia, didn't exactly go the way that they wanted. Neither did Michigan, nor did Minnesota either as well. And so it was somewhat competitive. Not, it was a 5-point win for the Democrat, but, somewhat semi-competitive. However, you saw Michigan and Georgia were actually somewhat close. Even Peters underperformed Joe Biden in this election, and we see that incumbent has now retired. The incumbent in New Hampshire has also retired, and in Minnesota, the incumbent has also retired, and that hasn't even been a really good seat for them either. The Republican in Kentucky is also retiring, presumably McConnell, and there will be a replacement for him going forward. In the Oregon seat, we can see here the primary candidates are Jeff Merkley, which is an incumbent U.S. senator. We see all of the predictions as of 2025 all have this race as safe Democrat. And I would actually say that this is fairly accurate as a characterization. My model currently has it as almost a 17-point win. So that is a fairly accurate characterization. In the state of Idaho, we can go over here and actually look at the state of Idaho in this. We currently see, as of right now, that 3-term Republican Jim Risch was reelected in 2020. He is running for a 4th term. That is going to be in the safe column as of right now. If we look at, for example, in Montana, we will actually see that the seat will be held on November 6, 2026 to elect another member of the U.S. Senate. Steve Daines was reelected in 2020 with 55% of the vote, but has yet to indicate if he will seek re-election. If he does seek re-election, more than likely we will be getting somewhat of a safe margin. It's about an 11-point win. So he basically outperformed his 2020 performance just barely. He is not the strongest incumbent senator in Montana, and so that is why you're seeing that take place there. In the state of Wyoming, again, it's literally 1-term Republican. Cynthia Lummis was reelected in 2020 with 72% of the vote. I mean, that's going to be safe. South Dakota will be safe. Even Nebraska actually comes back as a pretty safe seat because this seat in Nebraska is a relatively Republican seat, as we know of. Kansas on the map does come back safe as well. It's actually almost 4 points redder than what it was back in 2020 and when the seat was up last time. So that's good news. The Republican is doing well in Oklahoma, improving by about a point or so in the state of Oklahoma there. We see Colorado is now a 13-point victory for Hickenlooper in the state of Colorado, and I expect her to easily win re-election. New Mexico, on the other hand, is really interesting because this seat hasn't typically been very good for this Democrat. They usually underperform the presidential ballot quite frequently, and they're not a strong candidate. And so it is currently in the lean Democrat column, especially factoring in the Hispanic vote going into New Mexico there. And looking at Alaska, it is currently an 11-point win there. It was a 13-point win for Sullivan back in 2020, so it is slightly less Republican than what it was before. The state of Texas is really interesting because, Donald Trump won the state pretty convincingly in the election. He won it by 14 points, but Cornyn is a fairly weak incumbent to the point where he's being challenged by right now Ken Paxton. And even though he outperformed Donald Trump on the ballot, the only reason why he was able to do this well is because Donald Trump was on the ballot. If he was not on the ballot, he would have done significantly worse in the race. And right now, my model actually has this as a 4.9 percentage point rating in the state of Texas as of right now due to the fractured party. And the trends in the model even pick it up as well. And that's not even factoring in accurate polling or anything like that. So it'll be really interesting to see how this race ends up developing. Iowa is a 16-point win. Minnesota is about 6 points, so it's about a point bluer than what it was back in 2020. Illinois is going to end up being a pretty solid win there. That seat's been somewhat trending left, actually. Ohio will be around an 8-point win for the Republican in the state, replacing J.D. Vance. West Virginia, Kentucky, Tennessee, Arkansas, Louisiana, Alabama are all going to be in that safe column of over 12 points. Mississippi just below the 12-point column at about 11.8 percentage point win, and it is slightly redder than what it was back in the last cycle. We can see here in South Carolina, a 13-point win has been placed there, and in Virginia, just under the 12-point margin, so literally half a point less blue than what it was back in 2020. In the state of Florida, that is going to be a solid GOP state, a 15-point win for the Republican nominee there. Massachusetts, Rhode Island, New Jersey, and Delaware will all be safe in this scenario. Actually, New Jersey is not. It's actually it's actually like a 10-point win there. And we see, Massachusetts, Rhode Island are fairly in the safe column. New Hampshire is far gone. That seat is a really Democrat seat, and it continues to trend that way. And Chris Sununu actually just said he's not even going to run for the seat. So it went from being semi-competitive to now basically being a lock for the Democrats. And we now see in the state of Michigan, a 5-point win is posted for the Republican in Michigan. The model is picking up something really weird in the state, that the seat has been trending away from Democrats for a really long time. The incumbent has always underperformed there. And now that the incumbent is no longer there, the seat might actually be a little bit easier for Republicans to win this time around than even a seat like Texas with a weak incumbent like Cornyn. Now we see North Carolina ends up being a 3.8 percentage point win. That is slightly redder than what it was, about 2 points more until it's running for re-election. I think he might actually end up being okay there. And we see in Maine, yes, Susan Collins, I have projected to lose by 4 points in the model as of right now. This is a very unpopular take. However, we saw Jim Cramer actually say that Susan Collins, this is allegedly, I don't even know if he really said this, but I saw a report on X saying that Susan Collins is probably going to win re-election, and that guy's always wrong. And so it makes sense that I have this. And other YouTubers also have this as like a toss-up race as of right now. And Donald Trump really helped her in 2020 on the ballot. Many people don't realize this, but Donald Trump is the one who helps the Senate candidates get more votes, not the other way around. And so we see in Maine a seat where being MAGA through and through ultimately gets you better results is now not being delivered in the state by Susan Collins. And I actually expect her to lose re-election by about 3 to 4 points as of right now. And in Georgia, we don't know if Kemp is running or not, but Ossoff is a pretty vulnerable incumbent. The seat currently tilts in the Republican category as of right now. And so essentially the flips on the map are Georgia, Michigan, and Maine. Those are the three flips, with Maine netting the Democrats 1 seat and Michigan and Georgia netting the Republicans 2 seats, leading to a net gain of 1 seat for Republicans in the Senate chamber, 54-46. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to hit the like button and to subscribe if you want more content just like this. And I will see you guys in the next video.